Do bass players on fretless bass need intonation? Yeah, a lot. Do bass players with fretted instruments need intonation? Yeah. Welcome back and thank you for sticking around. Now, I think intonation is something that also guitar players, but also bass players need to understand, that even though you have frets on your instruments, you also would need to be careful and to be cautious about intonation. Now, for those of you who don't know what intonation is why we have the instrument's length of the bridge here between the nut and the bridge on the strings, because the distance between that can affect if this D, this note D, would sound like a D or if it would sound a slightly off. So if I've set my bass correctly, with the distance I've got from the bridge to the nut, when I press down here, it will be as close as I can get to a D. And if it's not perfectly intonated, then you will end up having this type of D. And I mean, as you can see, I'm just slightly bending here. So you must be able to hear the difference between and. Right? So it's still within the note D, but since it's not as off as a D as a C sharp, sorry, as a D sharp, right? Because that's the two notes we have next to each other, D and a D sharp. Intonation is everything in between there. There's a lot of places where that D can go wrong before it hits the D sharp. So fretted instruments also need intonation. Now, if you like this video, please click that subscribe button. And if you have already, then go to the notification bell and make sure to have all notifications checked, because I post regularly on the community channel. And if you want to get notifications from the community channel, then you need to click all on that subscribe, on that notification bell. Thank you. So, even though I have fretted instruments, even though I have a fretted instrument, I also would need to be careful about intonation. Because you can hear the big difference, especially in the lower notes, if I go just a straight C, and if I go like this. Like very much like a cello, right? Where you kind of vibrate and glide on the notes just to get like some movement on the string. Because nothing is more boring than this. So why not make it a little bit more musical? Right? I'm still on that same note, but I'm making the note vibrate a little bit more. Right? So this is like the topic of the day. Like, next time you play a melody or play some long notes, and even though you are playing the right fret, the right note, and at the spot that you are going to play, and if it still sounds a bit off, then do something about it, because only playing the right note is not enough. You need to make it musical. You need to make it fit the song. But of course, we can't always go, because that will not work with most music. That will not work as well. But you need to start start exploring new ways to express the notes that you are playing. Right? It sounds way more musical in the end. So yeah, even though you got frets on your instruments, you need to be careful about intonation. Of course, first and foremost, set your instrument to be perfectly intonated as good as possible. And like I said, the distance between that station there on the bridge and the nut of the string, if that distance is set correct, then most of the notes, only by pressing down on the fret, will be intonated and be perfectly in tune. So set that first and then start intonate with your fingers. And it doesn't matter if I bend or if I just move the finger on top of the fret. Even on chords, right? All right, I hope you check that out. Thank you.